And welcome back. We're kicking off our second segment this morning with a conversation with our good friends from the Belize Hotel Association as they prepare for the biannual meeting of the association. We have on set with us the president of the Belize Hotel Association, Tejada.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We also have Rasheed Girvan. He is the regional digital manager for Yello Media Group. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The biannual meeting, what's on the agenda for this year? For this meeting?
As you know, tourism is a key industry in the country of Belize. So every 6 months we provide updates to the industry. But this particular biannual, we're going to be, the theme of it is being in the micro moment.
Okay.
That is our theme for this conference. We know that technology has taken over most of the bookings around the world. And in Belize, because of adding internet, as you know, throughout the country, it is becoming easier to make your booking. So we have brought in some excellent speakers to speak on technology and how can it enhance your hotel in terms of bookings, of revenue. So Mr. Rasheed actually arrived yesterday to enlighten us. How can Yello Media Group, or what are they seeing in their trending for their different business? Because they only not do hotels, but they do restaurants, they do malls, all kinds of businesses. So they have a lot of information, data of what is trending with the customers nowadays.
Yeah. And I read Micro Moment, it's funny. Because it just reminds me very much of how you think of how quickly we process things and how quickly we judge things when we're online. That's what I was thinking of. So especially if I'm looking for a restaurant and I'm traveling, I make my decisions fairly fast. I just quickly look at reviews and, it's going to be a hit and miss. I don't know if my style is any different from anyone else's. So when you say micro moment, it makes me feel like you have a very small window to get people to want to venture to your hotel or restaurant.
That's exactly right. So micro moment was a term coined by Google, though the phenomena was not invented by Google.
Yeah.
And what I will focus on, and part of my presentation, is trying to explain what the micro moment is.
Yeah.
And from a perspective of the business owner, so that the better you understand what it is, what makes it work, the more you'll be able to put it to work for you.
Yeah.
And so we're going to be talking about changes in the travel industry, the purchasing patterns. Truth of the matter is some customers are actually going to book in a much narrower window, while some are going to be booking in a much longer window. And it's difficult for hoteliers to be able to navigate between one extreme to the next.
Yeah.
So we'll be focusing on some of that, as well as some key tips about how to help to improve the digital and helping to make the internet work for your business.
Well, what's the biggest change that we're seeing that we need to prepare for in terms of how people are booking or deciding where they want to go?
User behavior. Understanding the evolution of the customer and understanding their user behavior and keeping in tune with what triggers them to make a decision or not make a decision is one of the major deficits for not only hoteliers but for business owners in general.
Yeah. But I mean, each user is different. Naturally, each human is different. Age demographics will be different. How my socioeconomic status will make a difference.
Yes.
So how do you, where do you hone in to understand which behavior? Because you can't know all.
No. So, for example, the micro moment. What the micro moment is basically the response to stimulus. So I see, for example, a beautiful sunset on somebody's Facebook or Instagram, and it says, this is in Belize. Right away, I'm going to reach for my phone and start to research on this place, this resort. And that is actually a micro moment. It starts the thinking, it starts the process of looking into this destination. And so while there are many types of micro moments, while there are many stimulus that exist, different people, even though age, gender, interest, socioeconomic all different factors will contribute, there are certain inherent user behaviors
Yeah.
that are common throughout.
Yeah.
And it is now going to be able to tap into those. The other thing that is very important is, to that point, you cannot be everything to all people.
That's correct.
And so one of the main areas that we want to focus on as well is knowing who your customers are, who your ideal customers are, and being able to differentiate the market.
Yeah.
You will never be able to cover the entire market.
Yeah.
And chances are you don't need to.
Yeah. No.
Because you will have a set amount of capacity for your rooms or your restaurants, or if you're operating a general store,
Yeah.
you do have capacity. But there is a difference between somebody who is your ideal customer based on your infrastructure and what you provide. And so we help our customers to identify the ideal customer and to reach them in order to get more of that ideal customer.
How are we with that? Because I think, we talk about Belize and what we identify as a destination, but each individual property also has their own unique personality.
When we came up with this topic, being in the micro moment, because, like I said, a lot of it is going via the internet, and being that Belize, we're getting globalized with the internet, I realized, okay, what is really the micro moment? And we must attribute this to, I would say, Steve Jobs. He was the one that came up with the first phone that was able to do not just a phone, but that you can browse, you can watch a movie.
Yeah.
And I realized nowadays, you don't have to wait on Friday to get that newspaper in your hands. You are actually, as you wake up, you're checking what's happening around the world, what's happening in Belize. If somebody's tuning in right now and they see it's sunny, they see that shirt, they go on the internet and they can find that shirt and they can buy it. It's the micro moment. They see something in a microsecond and they process it. I like that.
Yeah.
I want that.
And take action.
And with the internet, it's the press of a button and it's being shipped to your house tomorrow. So that is what the micro moment is. And when I look at Belize, we recently did some studies at the Biltmore, and we started to play with different ads. And I realized that there's one item that really touches human beings in Belize, is putting an ad with small kids.
Oh,
we
I thought you were going to say food.
that is one, but we put an ad for a cooking class with kids, and I can tell you within 15 minutes, 15 minutes we were sold out.
Wow.
We had sold out the spaces. That's the fastest that we have ever sold anything at the Biltmore.
Yeah.
Wow.
We have good cooks, but that's the fastest we ever sold. And then I realized, when you're playing with different things, the micro moment, when they see something, it's a millisecond that they have. What will capture their attention? So when I look at throughout the country of Belize, there's resorts all over. And many of them are saying, oh, we're slow. What can you play with your locals? What can you do for your local people? How can you tap in something like Facebook that is free? You have a free platform at your fingertips. And that's why we're bringing Mr. Dominic Namis. He's a local Belizean that went abroad, studied, and now he works for Facebook. He's going to be sharing at the conference what are people or business doing on Facebook that is actually helping them. So it's very interesting.
I'm sure it is, because I think, after a certain age, it's all a guessing game for the rest of us, right? Because I think the challenge is that we separate our usage from what we think our customers are doing.
Correct.
Yes.
So I think, I scroll on this, I check that, I like, your cooking class. But my customers, I wonder what they're doing.
Yes.
And is that part of it, that we don't realize that we are users as well?
That is a huge part of it, the cognitive bias, where we think that our user behavior, our individual behavior, and that of our families is what is normal. And that absolutely is not the case. Many times as marketers, we'll have to say, you're not marketing to yourself.
Yes.
And in trying to understand who the ideal customer is and trying to understand their shopper journey, that helps us to craft a unique selling opportunity for you in order to reach your customers where they are, who are interested in sports, for example, or in yoga, or in the environment, in health and wellness, in the environment. Different people, irrespective of their demographic makeup, they're interested in something else. And trying to tap into those interests is really where digital separates itself and comes alive.
Yeah.
That's correct.
There's also an issue, though, of authenticity, because oftentimes I remember seeing this article about how Instagram influencers are moving away from what used to be the trend before, which was bright walls, pretty curated photos, into more immersive experiences because people were fatigued with all the very pretty photos. So what can happen, I imagine, is that for Belize, we have beautiful sunsets, we have beautiful coastal areas, and so everyone may kind of buy into this generic image of what Belize is. But really and truly, I could end up booking a sunset picture above the sea, but I'm really booking a jungle destination and be disappointed when I get there.
That's right. And the truth is that for social, you're right, it has moved away from the perfect scenario to a little more imperfect content. But it's real, it's authentic. And so people are more open and expecting and inviting of that authentic experience and information.
And I think I would like to add to that, because I actually had a customer just last week that was sharing with me that she went to a restaurant because she saw a picture of a plate on Instagram. She fell in love with that plate of food. So she went to the restaurant, she ordered the same thing. And you know what? It was not the same when she got it. So she took both, the picture that was on their Instagram and the picture that she had, and she posted both. And she swore never to go back to that restaurant. So,
and that's the issue with, or maybe they don't even have it on the menu.
That's correct.
And that's because when you're trying to figure it out, you see somebody else do something that works, and you say, okay, I'll do that too, because it'll get people to my property or to my restaurant. But then they get there and they don't get the experience they expect. So I'd imagine authenticity is very key in all of this as well.
But isn't there an element somewhat of like false advertising, if that's what you're looking at? If you're portraying something, to the world via this particular medium, but the experience is totally different, then essentially you're misleading your public.
You're right in that respect. And so one of the best practices for social media is to create content, but also to curate content. And so to tap into user-generated content. So one of the recommendations is as much as 50% of your social media posts should be retweets or reposts from your customers.
that's good.
That's right.
And so even though the lighting may be off or the picture framing may be a little off, the fact that you're reposting something from one of your guests or one of your customers, the fact that it is authentic and you're now putting it on your platform, it legitimizes the business, it makes it more real, and so it also helps to manage the expectations of the public.
Absolutely.
That's right.
And it shows that others are using or enjoying your products and services. So let's just dive right in here. I know you have a presentation to make today, but we want to take advantage of the fact that you're here. What do you find to be some of the common mistakes that people make when they venture into digital marketing or the digital world?
Expectations. The expectations are skewed. Usually the expectation is either that digital is entirely free. For example, on social media. The fact of the matter is that 3 years ago, the organic reach or the naturally occurring reach for a business, when a business make a post, between every year it has come down significantly. And so even though Facebook has over 2 billion users actively, Instagram is one of the largest growth platforms. However, it is for users primarily to share images and videos and so on. As a business, you have, Ted said, a microsecond. It's less than 2 seconds, the time when your thumb scrolls up, for you to engage with a customer.
That's correct.
What is your scrolling stopping power? That's one thing. Another thing I'll talk about is the fact that if your page on social media is only centered around ads and centered around your brand and your products, what is the what user benefit or value are you providing?
Yeah.
Why should somebody, whoever it is, try and visit your page? So social media, the use and strategy behind social media is one of the major areas for not only local businesses, but I think for businesses as a Caribbean whole to improve on. The next thing is not paying enough attention to the quality of the website. We know the power of search on Google, voice search, as well as when you type in.
Yeah.
Where does Google get that information from? The truth of the matter is it's getting it from your website or some other content that is online. Use the website in order to manage the quality of the content being put out to the public.
That's so
another
key
area.
because a lot of times people want to abandon websites to go just for social, but really they should be integrated.
Absolutely.
right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Can you, I mean, is this the new way of doing business? Is this, what are we seeing? Are people just discovering on social and then going to websites to purchase? Are we seeing that as the new trend, or is it still a mix of traditional?
It depends on the type of business. I will say, however, that advertising in general is communicating your message to your public where they are. Full stop. And so as a digital manager regionally, my preference and my affinity is towards digital. But as a marketer, I have to acknowledge the presence and the importance of TV, of radio, of print, because if those media channels have the opportunity to reach your public, then it is still effective. And so what I advocate for, and I've seen for literally all of my clients, irrespective of the industry, irrespective of the size, is a multi-channel approach. So what you have on social should be complemented through your website. And by the way, you can send the TV ads or electronic ads and the out-of-home ads, send people to the website. And so it's one ecosystem. A multi-channel approach still is the best way.
Yeah, so it's like a team, your own marketing team, your
That's
social,
correct.
your website, your advertisement.
That's correct.
That's correct.
Rather than focusing on just one. This must be a really exciting day ahead. I'm sure you're booked out for your
actually
meeting.
for tomorrow. It's going to be in San Ignacio, at the San Ignacio Hotel. It starts at 9 o'clock. We have 4 interesting speakers. We have Mr. Rasheed, who's going to be speaking on digital media. We have Mr. Bram as well. He's from Travel Click. Travel Click is a company that focuses on the booking channels, revenue management. They're going to be looking at how not only selling, but how do you maximize your revenue through these different channels. Because if you have, for example, we have 90 rooms. Every day we have 90 rooms. But there are certain days that can yield my rate for a higher because the demand is there. And they will show you the technology that you can study these trends and do that. Then we have Mr. Minor LaRue. He is the market manager for Expedia. He's grown Belizean. He's our local Belizean as well. He knows the industry. He knows Belize. He knows now what Expedia is using, the different platforms. He's going to be sharing. I was at the conference just last week with him, where Expedia has partnered, for example, with an airline, with Air Canada and United. So if you buy a hotel and an air ticket through Expedia, your flight gets canceled, Expedia automatically sends an email to the hotel saying, Mr. Chan is not going to be coming in such and such because his flight got canceled. So that communication is a great medium.
And convenience.
And convenience. And Mr. Dominic, he's going to be speaking on Facebook. As we know, Rasheed just mentioned there's about over 2.5 million active users on Facebook itself. An individual spends about 2.5 hours a day on Facebook. So capitalizing and using the different mediums that they have on Facebook to promote your message. And every day, I mean, we recently did a study, every day Belizeans are looking at different products. So today, for example, you might want to eat pasta. So you're looking for a restaurant that has pasta food. But on a Friday, you're looking for more of a tapas food and having some entertainment. So understanding them and seeing what a customer, the local Belizean, is looking for to promote your product and capture that business.
And the association itself, everyone is on board. They're willing to move and explore into their digital product.
You know, I was just sharing it, Rasheed, that over the years, the association has done a lot of traveling and actually face-to-face marketing through trade shows. We still do over 22 international trade shows. We travel Europe, Canada, South America, and promote Belize. The last year, we entered into what is the digital realm, and we are more and more interested into the digital realm. Why? Because we can actually quantify it.
Yeah.
Through the digital realm, we can know which customer is coming, which country, what time of the day, what are they looking.
So digital meetings.
logistics.
Which is mostly digital.
And it's
Yes.
cheaper.
It's a lot cheaper. So we are partnering with these gentlemen, with their companies, because they have data, they have statistics. And to be honest, it's working.
Yeah. And so you've done some ground research in Belize to know where we are?
Yes.
Okay.
I've actually been here a few times.
Yeah.
I've been on the ground. I've had the pleasure of visiting a couple of your districts. And so I do know a little bit more about the local landscape, but also to refresh, because the thing about digital is that what happened in January of this year, now in December, is
different.
now
Passé.
dated information. So yes, I have had the pleasure of being here before and researching on your lovely country. So
And are we taking advantage of the micro moment?
there's room for improvement.
Nice diplomatic answer. That means everybody can go and hear from Rasheed and the other speakers tomorrow in San Ignacio.
In San Ignacio.
Is there a cost to attending?
You know, for members, it's free. It's from 9 to 12. If it's a non-member, we do charge $40 for the simple reason that we do provide lunch for every participant.
Okay.
And at 1 o'clock from 1 to 4, it's the biannual. It's actually what the association is doing for its members.
Yeah.
And from 4 to 6, we have a cocktail because we do have 23 booths of people that represent tourism at the conference there that you can be able to trade and do business as well.
Nice. All right. Well, thank you for giving us a bit more than a micro moment in sharing what you're going to be doing tomorrow. Best of luck. I'm sure it's going to be a great conversation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right. We're going to go ahead and